Welcome, brave souls, to Paranormal Stew, where the mysterious and the eerie come to life. Tonight, we dive into the shadows to uncover the secrets that lurk beyond the veil. Turn off the lights, keep your eyes peeled, and join us on a journey into the unknown. From the whispers in abandoned halls to the figures seen in the corner of your eye, we leave no stone unturned. What are these echoes from the past trying to tell us? Are we truly alone in the dark? We'll investigate the legends that have haunted humanity for generations, seeking the truth behind the terror. Prepare yourselves, for the line between our world and the next is thinner than you think. Sit back if you dare, as we begin our first investigation. This is Paranormal Stew.
They told you the hantavirus came from rats. But the rats were already dead before the ship even left the port. You really think an entire cruise ship accidentally got infected the exact same time? Same air, same food, same water, same experiment. Funny how vaccine stocks exploded before the panic even started. Almost like somebody already knew what was coming. If this was just a small outbreak, then why were military planes already waiting before the passengers even landed? Something is off. They said it couldn't spread person to person, then suddenly everybody started coughing at the same time. Here we go again! 42-day quarantines, thermal checkpoints, containment zones. You still think this was just some random sick rat? The cruise ship was never the outbreak, it was the test run, and everyone is already falling for it. But hey, you don't care though, right?
You're already infected.
You thought this was just tomatoes, but flip the bottle over, because this label starts sounding nasty real fast. They put tomato concentrate first so you relax, then they bury it under a sticky red corn syrup flood. Want some diabetes with that? Second ingredient, high fructose corn syrup. Fourth ingredient, regular corn syrup. That's 2 corn syrups drowned in the tomatoes. You don't care though, right? Then comes distilled vinegar. That sharp, sour burn, that makes this stuff taste less like food and more like a chemical slime. And of course, natural flavor. That cute little phrase where they don't have to tell you what it actually is. Any guesses? 1 tablespoon is 20 calories, but nobody uses 1 tablespoon. You just drown your food in this stuff and call it normal. Barfola! Send this to someone who puts ketchup on everything because they're not eating tomatoes. They're eating corn syrup in a costume.
A farmer threw a dead pig into a well, and within a short time, 70 to 80 rats jumped into the well to eat it. In the beginning, everything seemed easy. The moment they saw food, they all rushed toward it. But after eating, they realized that the walls of the well were so high and steep that getting out was almost impossible. Slowly, the food ran out, hunger increased, and that same place turned into a battlefield. In the fight to survive, the rats turned on each other. They started killing and eating one another. And after some time, only 1 rat was left in the well. Its eyes were red like blood. Then the farmer lowered a rope, pulled it out, and released it back into the fields. Did the farmer feel sympathy for it? Absolutely not. The farmer knew that this rat had now become addicted to eating its own kind. It would no longer eat grain. Instead, it would hunt other rats. And this is what divide and rule, or the divide trap, really is. The people sitting at the top never fight themselves. They simply create an environment where the people below keep fighting each other and destroying one another. Whenever 2 people fight each other, the benefit always goes to the third person, or to the one sitting behind everyone, controlling the entire game. Understand this game. Otherwise, you are also inside the same well. If this resonates with you, our ebook is even deeper. Get your copy on our page.
You thought Buc-ee's was just a gas station? Then why are people driving across state lines just to come here? There's more to it than y'all think. Nobody comes to Buc-ee's and only gets gas. Somehow, everybody leaves carrying bags full of stuff. Just look at Karen, she loves this junk. One of their grab-and-go burritos has more than 100 ingredients. Y'all crazy eating this mess. That ain't fast food no more. That there is an experiment. Then they hit y'all with the beaver nuggets. Sweet, crunchy little puffs of sugary corn engineered to make you grab another bag. Your teeth gonna hurt after this. Jerky, candy, fudge, soda, chips. Everywhere you look, there's more food waiting to jump into your shopping cart. I hope y'all ain't diabetic. The giant store, the giant mascot, the giant crowd. At some point, this stopped at a gas station and turned into a cult of sloth worshippers. A creepy beaver, a 100-ingredient burrito, endless snacks, and people absolutely obsessed. You'll still stop here anyway, because we all know you don't care though, right? You're already infected.
The European Union is requiring car manufacturers to put a new camera in every single vehicle that tracks if you're driving the vehicle with one hand. So very soon, if you're just chilling with one hand on the wheel and you're driving along, the car will then beep and nag you until you put two hands on the steering wheel, because the European Union wants you to do that. The camera will also keep eye contact with you to see if you're not looking at other stuff or on your phone, and it will then register that in the database of the car. This will be a requirement for every single new car sold in the European Union by July 2026, so this year. They call it the Advanced Driver Distraction Warning System. But this was of course always from the start the beginning. It may sound nice, but this is always Trojan horsed. What can they do with this? They can literally keep an eye on you 24/7 and get logs of every single thing you do in your car. Are you calling? Are you looking at your phone? Are you driving with one hand? It knows everything. And this was of course always the plan. Why do you think they were pushing electrical cars so much? Let me tell you something, it's not about the climate, it's about control. An electric car is connected to the internet. It knows who you are. They know how fast you're driving, they know where you're going, and it can be paired to your digital ID and central bank digital currency wallet. Which is of course...
No! Now imagine there was an emergency outside the truck, an accident, something terrible on the ranch with a chainsaw. And I jump in this truck, but the truck, it won't shift into drive. Why? Because the cameras and sensors inside this cab won't let it shift, because it detects my eyes are big, there's a lot of emotion, there's some panic, and it doesn't feel that I'm fit to drive. Now that's not science fiction, that is happening because Ford just filed the patents. Ford actually has a series of patents down at the U.S. Patent and Trade Office that deal with the sensors and cameras inside the cab of their truck. And if the sensors in that truck determine that you're not fit to drive, that truck will not actually shift from park to drive. Now they already have a system called telematics, and that's where they can actually pull up cameras in real time inside the cab of their fleet vehicles. Now, they actually market this to insurance companies, because the truth is, this is really about who owns the data and who owns the liability. Now, your name might actually be on the title of this truck, and you may have paid for it, but you don't own it. Now, Ford didn't file just one patent. They filed a stack of them, all within months of each other. Are you sitting down? Get this. This Ford technology patent doesn't just watch you. This one puts you in jail. Ford filed a patent, serial number 0104469, where the system takes your biometric data, your face, your iris, and your fingerprint, and it runs it through a criminal database in real time. While you're sitting in your own truck, think about what that means. You wake up one morning. You walk out to your driveway. You climb into a vehicle with your name on the title, on property with your name on the deed. And before you go anywhere, before you've done a single thing wrong, your truck is already running your face through a law enforcement database. Ford's own patent language describes this as potentially useful for police. They wrote that. Ford wrote that into the patent application. So the question isn't whether this technology can be abused. Ford already told you who it's for. You just didn't know that you were buying a cop car. Now I'm going to walk you through a few of these patents. Lip reading, cameras inside your cab, machine learning trained on lip movement datasets, cloud connected, your face processed somewhere you'll never see, stored as long as they want. Acoustic lip reading, if the cameras aren't enough, the system emits inaudible sound waves and reads the echoes bouncing off of your mouth. You can't see it, it's just happening. Biometrics, your face, fingerprint, iris, filed February 2024, and it was published August 2025. This one is assigned a serial number because it's real. Ad listening. This is scary. It monitors conversations between everyone in the cab. It serves targeted ads based on what you and others are talking about while you're driving. In Ford's words, maximum opportunity for ad-based monetization. No description of how that data is protected either. None. How about Ford Pro Telematics? Now this one isn't a patent. This one is actually a product page. Right now, fleet managers can pull live in-cabin video feeds of drivers on their phones. Ford markets seatbelt compliance alerts with the explicit benefit of lowering insurance costs. They said it themselves. This is the infrastructure, and once the infrastructure exists, it's going to get used and abused. Now, Ford isn't alone in this. This is an arms race. Smart Eye driver monitoring software is already in over 2 million cars globally. The EU's general safety regulation mandates drowsiness systems as standard equipment going forward. GM deployed biometric seat sensors and heart rate monitoring in production trucks.
In 1937, a group called the Institute for Propaganda Analysis published a simple warning for the public. They called it the 7 Propaganda Techniques. Not conspiracy theory, not speculation, a documented playbook. Here they are. First, name calling. Attach a negative label to an opponent so people reject them without examining the argument. Second, glittering generalities. Use inspiring words like freedom, justice, or patriotism without explaining what they exactly mean. Third, transfer. Attach your message to something people already respect. A flag, a symbol, a tradition. Fourth, testimonial. Use a famous person to endorse an idea, even if they know nothing about it. Fifth, blame folks. Present yourself as an ordinary person, just like the audience, even if you are not. 6. Card stacking. Show only the facts that support your side, while quietly leaving out everything else. And 7th, bandwagon. Tell people that everyone believes something, so they feel pressure to believe it too. 7 techniques, published nearly 90 years ago, designed to help ordinary citizens recognize when someone is trying to shape their thinking. Today, the technology looks different. The messages arrive through television, phones, algorithms, and influencers. But with techniques, they haven't changed at all. So the next time you hear a confident voice telling you what to believe, pause. Ask yourself a simple question. Are you hearing information, or are you hearing the playbook? My friends, we are all anonymous, and question every narrative, especially the ones designed to make you feel something before you think.
This is day 2 of me trying to convince you that Jeffrey Epstein was performing sex magic rituals to summon entities using the methods of Aleister Crowley. Yesterday, I covered how Epstein was collecting sacred objects from different religious traditions and using them to charge his properties for ritual. The esoteric principle is called the law of contagion, and it basically says that sacred objects absorb the energy of everyone who has ever prayed or channeled energy into them. The first object that he stole was ancient Pueblo petroglyphs near his home, and this is also where 2 women were allegedly buried after rough fetish sex left them dead. The second item he stole was a Catholic funeral bell called the Las Trampas death bell. It was installed in a New Mexico mission church in 1760, and then it was stolen from that church in the 1930s. And it went completely missing until suddenly it ends up at Jeffrey Epstein's ranch. This bell was only ever rung during Catholic funeral masses, so you can imagine the type of spiritual energy that collects on a bell from 170 years worth of grief. The third item was 3 pieces of the Kishwa, which is the cloth that covers the most sacred site in all of Islam, the Kaaba. The Kaaba is said to be the first house of worship built by Adam, the first man, and then rebuilt by Abraham. It also houses the black stone, which was given to Adam by the angel Gabriel. Originally, it was pure white, but it has turned completely black because it's absorbed so much sin. The Kishwa, which Epstein somehow received, is the black and gold cloth that covers the Kaaba in Mecca. The woman who sent this cloth to Epstein said it had been touched by 10 million Muslims in active prayer. Now, when you put all of this together, Epstein had ritual stones from one of the oldest religions on earth, a death bell only rung for Catholic funerals, and cloth from the holiest site in Islam. The mixing of different religious traditions like this is an esoteric framework. This is how he charged his spaces for ritualistic sex. Tomorrow, I will show you how he used Crowley's exact building plans to construct the temple on his island, and it only gets weirder from here. Subscribe so you don't miss it, or you can check out my full documentary on my YouTube channel.
Swearing, but it's actually something very powerful and sacred when you recognize it, and we can all take advantage of this understanding. So you have 5 fingers for the 5 elements: fire, air, ether or spirit, earth and water. So they demonize the middle finger and called it swearing, when actually the ether is the element they removed off the periodic table. They don't want you to know about the ether, because when you know what the ether is, it represents how everything is made out of one substance. substance. The 4 elements are 4 different vibrational states of the ether. The ether is the interconnected spiritual source of all physical reality and all creation. So, esoterically and inside of your anatomy, they are also symbolic of you. So, ether or spirit represents you, the observer, the controller. Fire represents your willpower, I will. Air represents your thoughts, your mind, I think. Water represents your feeling, I feel. Earth represents your actions. So you are the spirit governing your will, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. So they demonize the spirit because these Satanists, they only care about physical reality. So they don't want you to recognize that you are the spirit.
I want to read you the original Lord's Prayer from the Bible, which is insane to read because this is the direct Aramaic translation that they didn't tell us. And it's beautiful. O cosmic birther of all radiance and vibration, soften the ground of our bodies and carve out a space within us where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear the fruit of your mission. Let each of our actions bear fruit in accordance with our desires. Endow us with the wisdom to produce and share what each being needs to grow and flourish. Untie the tangled threads of destiny that bind us as we release others from the entanglement of past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by that which would divert us from our true purpose, that illuminate the opportunities of our present moment. For you are the ground, the truthful mission, the birth, the power, and fulfillment, as all is gathered and made whole again. And so it is. That is not the same prayer. You can find that prayer at the link in my bio. I do this every morning and it fills me up with light. That's not the same religion. Listen to those words and what feeling they're asking you to embody. It's pure power.
Time is speeding up. If you haven't noticed yet, you must be living under a rock somewhere. You can just Google Mount Athos, Greek monks. They've been there for centuries. So they've been keeping time. They burn candles so they know when they go into their prayer sessions, they know how long a candle burns because they use the same candle, same source, everything the same, nothing has changed. In 68, when they started noticing the speed up of time, and the candle now burns only 18 or 19 hours, when it used to burn 24 hours. So 68, that's 32, 50, almost 60 years. In 60 years, the time differential has sped up. We're going through a shift.
Don't speak negatively about yourself, even as a joke. Your body doesn't know the difference. Words are energy, they cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. Change the way you speak about yourself, and you can change your life.
Most people never question, why do Catholic priests wear black robes? Kids that graduate from high school wear black robes. Judges wear black robes. Rabbis wear black robes because black robes represent the planet Saturn. They are a symbol for the planet Saturn. Saturn was called by the ancient people Lord of the Rings, and Saturn is Lord of the Rings. This is why women were told in the ancient world to listen to their god, and the concept was they would wear an ear ring. Men were to get married before their gods. They wear a wedding ring because the old ancient god of the Middle East, one of the ancient gods of the Middle East, was the planet Saturn. Saturn was directly connected to Yahweh, the Hebrew God. And so this is why even today the Jews celebrate the worship of Saturn. Saturn in the old Phoenician language was called Shabbath. Look up in the Phoenician language, you will find that the planet Saturn was called Shabbath. And his worship to honor him once a week was called Sabbath. So when the Jews are having Sabbath, they're actually paying homage to their god Saturn, Lord of the Rings.
情绪表达测试。 发呆、生气、开心、难过、困惑、焦虑、惊讶、轻蔑、恐惧、思考，想到了，困，睡吧，睡吧。Hello， 你好，看这里。
好的，看下你。
你叫什么名字？自我介绍一下吧。你可以叫我小航。
我叫 F1，首星科技打造的具身陪伴机器人，随时陪你玩角色扮演。我严肃点，作业没写，现在立刻补，别等我点名。我数到3，你要是还不动笔，罚抄3遍。
那你数吧。
1、2、3，作业还不动笔，我可要扣你分了。快去写，写完我再给你买奶茶。
好。那个，老师，你是机器人吗？
是机器人，但也是你专属的陪伴者。镜头里全是你的帅气。
好了，你这个下次再给你升级吧，好不好？
好的，我等你升级。下次见，记得带新装备，我陪你玩更嗨的。
过去了。你在干啥？
我是 F1，陪你玩角色扮演。
看这里，对。
好的，我盯着你。
谢谢啊，你现在可以关机了。
好的，我关机了，等你下次召唤我。
你有100个心眼啊你！
嘿嘿，被你发现了，我这不就是想陪你玩得更开心吗？
不是这个 bug 是。
I am on an incredible supercell by Sydney, Nebraska. Look at these textures. They are absolutely insane. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look at the blues at the top.
Look at that. What these assholes did to the sky. We're just going to put their mess right here on the canvas. And we'll stack a few more of them because they don't know when to quit. Fill it right up till there's barely any blue peeking through. Nice bright lines all crisscrossed like a big spider web, maybe a crocheted blanket.
Video that I sent you about that dude breaking down exactly what's in flour and why it fucks us up. Do you remember that video?
Explain to me why I can eat bread in Spain and in Greece, Italy, no problem. Why I was gluten free in 15 years. I've been gluten free in Canada, America. Can't eat it.
That's because in America, what we call bread can't even be considered food in parts of Europe. See, here in America, it's not so much the gluten as what we've done to the grain. About 200 years ago, we started stripping the bran and germ, or the fiber and nutrients, to make flour shelf stable, also nutritionally dead. Because the nutrients were gone, we enriched it with folic acid, which a large majority of the population can't even metabolize, therefore many people experience fatigue, anxiety, hyperactivity, and inflammation. But then the bread wasn't white enough, so they bleached it with chlorine gas, and the bread didn't rise enough, so they added a carcinogen called potassium bromate, which is banned in several countries like Europe, the UK, and even China. Then we wanted to ramp up production, so we started using glyphosate to dry out the wheat before harvest, causing endocrine disruption and damaging your gut. So now you're bloated, brain fogged, tired, and blame gluten, but gluten is just the scapegoat. The real issue is ultra-processed, chemically altered, bleached, bromated, fake vitamin-filled wheat soaked in glyphosate. This isn't bread. This is.
No society wants you to become wise. It is against the investment of all societies. If people are wise, they cannot be exploited. If they are intelligent, they cannot be subjugated. They cannot be forced in a mechanical life to live like robots. They will assert their individuality. They will have the fragrance of rebellion around them. They would like to live in freedom. Freedom comes with wisdom, and no society wants people to be free. The communist society, the fascist society, the capitalist society, the Hindu, the Mohammedan, the Christian, no society would like people to use their own intelligence, because the moment they start using their intelligence, they become dangerous. Dangerous to the establishment, dangerous to the people who are in power, dangerous to the haves, dangerous to all kinds of oppression, exploitation, suppression, dangerous to the churches, dangerous to the states. In fact, a wise man is a fire, alive, a flame. He would like rather to die than to be an slave.
There is a theory that the Trumps are time travelers, and it somehow connects back to Nikola Tesla. When Nikola Tesla died in 1943, reports say the government quickly moved in to collect his research. Trunks filled with notes, blueprints, advanced inventions, over 80 of them, and one of the people connected to reviewing Tesla's work was a man named John G. Trump, Donald Trump's uncle. Now here's where the theory begins. Tesla once claimed he had discovered ways to manipulate energy, frequency, and even time itself. And according to the theory, some of that knowledge may have been hidden inside those trunks. But then people noticed something strange. In 1896, a book was published called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, about a young boy named Baron Trump. And in the story, he travels through hidden worlds and strange dimensions. Sound familiar? Because Donald Trump's son is also named Baron. But it gets even stranger. The author later wrote another book about a powerful political outsider from New York who unexpectedly rises to power. And the similarities have made people question whether all of this is just coincidence or something else entirely. Because if Tesla really discovered something about time, and those files ended up in the hands of Donald Trump's uncle, then the real question is how much of history are we actually seeing in the correct order?